Made you get the eye of riding horse on your arms for what they mean and what they stand for. Why did I get them on one arm? Because one is the right eye and one is the left eye. One is protection and one had to do with they all have stories behind them. But I thought of protection and one was like luck and blessings or something like that, or restoration. Or right, protection and restoration. But one of them had a dark ass story behind it, behind I don't even remember, bro. I don't even remember. I don't even remember fully, bro. I knew more when I first got him, and then and now that I got him, I haven't thought about it much. Um, Associated with the eye of Horus, right, which is on my left side, is associated with healing and wisdom. The eye of Ra is associated with power and destruction on the right side. It shows the intelligence of ancient Egypt, hence the eye of Horus being a map of the third eye in the brain. Y'all know what I say about the third eye, right? You know what I say when people talk all this shit and all this fancy shit, and they talk about, well, your brain has this spot of this. Bro, I'm gonna tell you, it's so much newer spirituality. I don't even trust somebody fully spiritually if they only been claiming they spiritual from like the last 3 to 4 years. And I'm not this Mr. Spiritual Inspector Agency Police and all that. I'm just saying a lot of people have gotten their knowledge and information and felt good about it because they feel like they're doing something different, which is good. They're thinking outside of the box. But you have so many people who now, because it's an abundance, it's a profit thing. Like they want to profit. They just hold attention to profit and want to feel like they're doing something differently, bro. Out of all what you want to see is the third eye, this is all you need to understand when you think about that shit, bro. Is the third eye is the ultimate tool of creation and creativity. It's essentially imagination, bro. What I say, and I wrap it up, is the eye that can see when your eyes are closed. It's your ability to say, what do I want to create? Where do I want to be in life? Where do I want to go? Or it's your ability to see what has not physically manifested yet. What eye sees that? Clearly not my physical eyes. How can I sit here and see? Let's say I go buy a diamond chain or something, right? How do I see that? What I see that my physical eyes do not see that chain yet? It's my imagination. And then when I go get it or I take the necessary steps to achieve that or get that, what vision am I drawing on? My mind's eye, exactly. I'm drawing from my mind's eye. And a lot of times people, they talk about, oh, your third eye's closed, or, your low vibration, or, all this stuff. You lack your imagination and creativity that you had when you were a child. And that shit got closed because of your dreams being crushed, because of you following a system which creates sheep and follows order, and which prides yourself in following orders. And the idea of you not being able to manifest as strongly or use your mind's eye, your third eye, when you're low vibration, is because, look it up. Look at the emotional scale and spectrum and the frequency of the lower emotions, like anger, like doubt, like despair, and like grief. Right? Y'all listen, I told you I wanted to get into neurosurgery, so I always was like looking up shit in neuroscience and stuff like that. I dropped a whole video on brainwaves and frequencies and shit like that. I summarized this all to say, literally, you cannot think as openly when you're angry. 9 times out of 10, when you're angry, you're frustrated, you're mad, you're feeling depressed. We all know what that mentality looks like. Depression feels like a hole. It feels like a very narrow, tunnel vision way of thinking. It's very short term. It's almost like you gave up. It's almost like, you only can see life one way. Like, this is all that there is. You lose hope. What's the idea of hope? Hope is being like open mind. Hope is like leaving the door open and saying, more can happen. I hope so. Hope is like being like, some people use hope even as a negative thing. That's not true hope. That's not true joy. That's joy, hope, gratitude, all of those on the higher end of the spectrum, because they just allow for more fluidity when you're creating. If I'm creating something from those higher end of the spectrum emotions, and I could bring up the scale right now, Jeff, if y'all want me to be more specific, but you understand, a lot of times I'll just freestyle for shit I learned before. But like I'm saying, when you in them lower end of them frequencies, like you're sad, you're low, your mind is very closed. Your mind is very stuck. It's thinking very small. So it's harder for you to use your imagination or creativity because you're not imagining. You think you have it figured out. You know what? I didn't get this job, or this didn't happen, so and like that's just it. Like, so your mind is still stuck on that shit. It's hard to be open minded. It's hard to be fluid. You know what I'm saying? Okay, bring it up then. This should be big enough to see. Pause. That's what she said. You know what I'm saying? But shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, despair, anger, pride, courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, enlightenment. Contracted, expanded. It's more open. It's more like you can see more. You can understand more. Willingness, right? You think of fear. Fear is false expectations around reality. If you have a lot of fear, then that means you're just living life through what you expect to happen, and it dictates your actions. But willingness, think about willingness on the opposite of fear. If I have willingness, then that means I'm willing to see what happens. I'm willing to be proven wrong. I'm willing to say, what could be. I'm willing. When you're full of fear, you're not willing. You're stuck on that fear. I'm not willing to go around. I'm not willing to take that risk because I'm afraid. So willingness is literally opening up to what could be, bro. That mind's eye, that third eye is open. You're aware, you're conscious, you're expanding, you're creating. So that's pretty much what you can wrap that up. People always try to make it so deep and talk about all this other shit, but it's just where is your mind? What's your emotional state of being? What's your mental state? And how does that free up the sharpness that you have? How does that free up your potential as a person? Because you actually can learn faster and be sharper when you get your mind right. And your drive is just different. You absorb shit just way better. Like going in with no expectations. Going in and letting your expectations go. How do you make your way up the mental states? Look at the ideas, beliefs, and thoughts that are maintaining those low mental states, bro. That's what it is. It's not just that you just have those mental states and it just is what it is. I'm stuck here, nothing I can do. I suck. My life sucks. Everything sucks. Look at that shit like a plant being alive. Plants just don't live. They get watered. They're in fertile soil. They get sunlight. Like, a lot has to happen for that plant to stay alive. So if you are stuck in a constant state of fear, sadness, and negativity, right? That shit is being maintained. It's constantly growing. Now, there's probably ideas or beliefs that keep that there. For example, let's just take a simple one, a basic ass one. As a dating coach, right? A guy says, man, I'm afraid of rejection. That's the mental state, right? There's thoughts and beliefs that keep that fear alive. I'm afraid of rejection, right? That's the headboard. That's the level of mental state he's at. Think about some thoughts that keep that alive, chat. The thought that she'll reject me and it's going to be negative. The thought that I'm going to feel bad if I get rejected. The belief that if I get rejected, it means I'm less of a man, or I'm less of a person, or that I'm not enough. These are beliefs that keep that fear alive, bro. I'm too right. If she gets rejected, then that must mean I'm too ugly. I'll be embarrassed. So all these thoughts keep that mental state alive. Meanwhile, that fear cannot just stand on its own. It has no leg to stand on. Your thoughts and your beliefs keep it alive, bro. You attach your worth to it, exactly. So it's being maintained just like a plant has to be kept alive. That being afraid of rejection is standing on something. How can you work on proving that? You have to challenge those beliefs. You have to challenge those thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Todd's forehead is big because I'm telling you, bro, I had a big forehead since I came out the womb. Like, bro, I was meant to be a big thinker, bro. I was meant to be a big thinker. So the best way you challenge those and get those out is you have to do something strange, bro. You gotta doubt your beliefs. You gotta challenge your beliefs. You know what? Does it really mean so what if I'm ugly? Does that mean I'm a terrible person? Or does it mean that my life is over? My life is ass. I'm shitty. I can't be nothing in life if this girl rejects me? Does it, like, challenge that shit? Knock down the legs that it stands on. Like, really take the countering viewpoint, take the counter perspective. Like, you know what? Who says that's the end of the world? Like, if whatever, who gives? Really dig deep and pull that root out, bro. And then now you can replace it. Once you knock the legs that keep it alive and the legs that it stands on, now you have to replace it. See, now you got to find out, like, you know, what else you going to start thinking, what you going to believe in, what you going to replace it with, and why, bro. And this is for anything, honestly. This is my junior year. I want to work on having a roster. How should I go about that? Should I try to adapt to different people and spread my wings? I mean, at the end of the day, no matter which way you chop it, you got to shoot your shot more. Like, that's the most quickest answer. Shoot your shot more. What have you done before to deal with a lack of ideas for content? I've never had a lack of ideas for content. I could be completely honest with that. I can tell you right now, if I'm ever not dropping a video, it's literally just me not dropping a video. These are 16, just open my notes. This is 16 ideas for YouTube. If I go to Patreon, coincidentally, the list is also 16 videos. But I'll take and delete stuff on there all the time. Like, videos just come to me randomly. I freestyle a lot of my shit. It's just how I work. And I think what I noticed too, your creativity runs dry when you take a break. I feel like when I'm most consistent is when ideas just keep coming, like just randomly, bro, just randomly, literally. When I'm stuck in a grind, like ideas just keep coming. But when I'm bullshitting, they come a little slower, or I might have to, you know, whatever. But that's just because I create from what's within. So if I make a video, it's coming from an opinion I've already been festering off camera, or something I want to get, a message I want to leave with y'all, something I want to give to y'all. Like, I create like that. I create from myself. I don't steal and look over here and all that. Or even if I taking a video I'm reacting to, or something y'all sent, I spin it my way. So I feel like if you have writer's block or something like that, right? The way you can stimulate that is think about the impact, I guess. That's what I would think of. Like, you know what? If I'm looking for, I want to make my viewers laugh. How can I do that? It's a million ways to do that. Versus saying, what video idea do I want to have? Like, you're being so specific that it's like, what would you even come up with? Like, I don't know. Then if you think more on an open-ended route, then the examples might just come up. You might start spitballing shit, and then something sticks, bro. How you build healthy habits and how you build confidence when it comes to talking to women. Healthy habits. Figure out what habits are beneficial to you. I can give you a list of habits that might not benefit you at all. I can tell you to do 50 push-ups a day and start punching with weights in your hands. But if you don't want to be a boxer, like, what are you doing this for? You know what I'm saying? So it's a bunch of habits that are relatively beneficial to you or a next person. So you got to find out your own habits, bro. But you talking about confidence with talking to women, you don't have confidence. I don't have confidence when it comes to talking to women. I am a confident man. So it doesn't matter if I'm talking to a woman, talking to a real estate business deal, I'm on the phone with customer service. It doesn't matter. I'm a confident man. Confidence should not be situational. If you have situational confidence, you're really setting up a bigger problem in the future. And I'm going to tell you why. Because that means it could be taken away from you. And that's the worst type of confidence. That's like the confidence of somebody who's been the top athlete their whole life, and then they get injured, and then they lose themselves. And then they finally find out, like, oh shit, I'm more than my skill. I'm more than being the best. Like, I'm more, this is more to me than a person. You know what I mean? How would you go about pursuing a better career, like going back to school, but also work to pay your bills? I wouldn't do that now. But be more specific. Like, you gotta be more specific when you say that. You gotta be like, put your actual details there, because that's not specific enough, bro. I wouldn't really be able to cook just saying go back to school and pursue a career. Like, the way I did it the first time is I positioned myself to have the scholarships I had, because I didn't want to take on debt. You know, and I did my homework on what does it take to secure those scholarships. How do people get them? How do people get in those rooms, those conversations? And I went and handled that. I could be more specific than that, but I don't know what position you're in. Are you in high school? Because then I could talk to you about how I did that from high school. Are you an adult? Like, that's a different conversation, bro. Where can I start when wanting to get my mind right? Whether it's meditating, it's not meditating. It's being alone. I would say journaling, like writing your shit down, writing down how you think or what you think of your perspective is. I would say that's good, but I don't think that did it for me, bro. My solitude did it for me, bro. Personally, I never really been a writer. Me personally, I would just spend time alone and think myself through things. Like finally being able to hear yourself is so important, bro. But it's hard because how can you hear yourself in an unjudged environment? This is why I think it's special when I go outside and I go on nature walks and shit, because when you out there, bro, nothing matters, bro. For a temporary time, obviously. But how temporary is it if it makes you take away all that you stuck on in your life? Life coming at you. I'm going to just say it like this. If we had to describe life is like life is just like, you know what I'm saying, chat? Like shit happens here. You dealing with this. You stressed about this happening. Life is just like, you know what I mean? So when you go to the woods, for example, put your phone away in your pocket, you just sit there, right? You take a deep breath, you just look around. Bird that just flew by, don't give rent due. Don't even got rent. The water that's been flowing for the last 100, 200 years, that's been that river and that little random lake, don't give. It's just existing, bro. Your bank account don't matter out there. You can't swipe no credit card. You just have to sit there and just be present with your thoughts. You have to just sit there and just think. And oftentimes you don't have time to be that mindful. You're not allowed to be that mindful because you always got to deal with something. So your mind is probably present in avoiding that, which you're dealing with. You're probably trying to avoid that. Or your mind is so caught up in that life shit that it doesn't slow down for a second. So that's why I think spending a lot of time alone did for me. When I start slowing down for a second, and I start saying, oof, like, all right, stressed out, you're dealing with this, you're dealing with that. Slow down, man, slow down. It always did good for me. Like I said, I'm not a writer, I'm not a journaler. I think that helps a lot of people too. That might help too. But for me, my solitude always did that for me. Real deal. DK with the big 20 months, man, you dig. The difference between old
I think we might be related, Brody. We got the same last name. Smiley face.
Is it spelled Golden? Golden? That's tough. Might be my cousin. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Difference between old spirituality versus new spirituality. What it takes to be spiritual. I feel like new spirituality, everybody wants to know the answer. Nobody trusts the chef. You know how we say let them cook? If the universe or God is the chef, right? Is the creator. And somehow, some way, the world has been going on fine for this long. I'm really generalizing when I say fine, because as we know, it's a lot of shit going on. But another day still came. And still somehow turned out where it is. Trust the chef. But you have to trust the chef. The bad, the good, the up, the down. Trust the chef. I feel like old spirituality trusted the chef more. This new spirituality, everybody wants an answer. Everybody wants reassurance. Everybody wants to know. I need answers. I need answers. I need to know. I need certainty. Nobody can be comfortable with uncertainty. Or the middle awkward phases. Old spirituality was built on trust. It was just being able to be in the middle of and say, out. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to use modern lingo here, so it's more understandable. But it was built on trust, relaxing. Everybody on that, if God won't text me, he must not exist mentality. Not even just that, but it's really a difficult thing, chat. I'm not even gonna say it's easy, bro. I'm not even gonna say it's easy, bro. I'm not going to say it's the easiest thing in the world to have 100 problems in front of you, problems from your past, problems you dealing with right now, be in the middle of all that bullshit and say, I got it, or it will be fine. That is not easy, bro. I'm not even going to sit here and say that shit is easy, bro. It is not easy at all. As we know, what did we do when we put up that emotional spectrum, right? What did we pull up? Right? Look at this. In that state of all that problems in front of you, problems behind you, problems you're dealing with right now, you're more likely to feel a lot of anger, fear, shit like that, right? Or maybe shame from the past, grief from the past, desire, and all that. You're not willing. It's really not likely that you have a willingness to say, you know what, I can handle it, or acceptance to say, you know what, this is my life. I'll deal with it. I'll become stronger. Like, that's not likely because you have to expand your mind. You have to start thinking open for that. So I'm not saying it's easy, bro. I'm not saying it's easy at all. So how do you get there? Like, what's the shift that happens? For me, it's if that shift really happened, bro, when I stopped accepting the bullshit. I really put it down to that, chat. Like, when I sat there and looked at my life, or life in general, or living, the choice to live, the choice to be alive, and I say, you know what? The bottom line is, I'm going with a fight.